I got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in my comments fighting for their life. I'm lit.
It's no secret that Jim Jones and Nas have a checkered past, a checkered history.
As for Nas, man, I'm gonna smack that fucking kufi off your fucking head, man.
But I don't know what drove Jim Jones to believe that he's on Nas's level in any category.
It's comparing you to Nas and saying that you got...
There's no comparison. Nas versus Jim Jones, this is not a comparison. This is not even a serious conversation to be having. All my New York folks, my East Coast folks who subscribe, am I wrong on this? Y'all let me know. I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video.
Let's break this down. Remember, Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you dig? We talking about 94. I was in 11th grade. Nigga, it's 2025. Big gap there. You know what I mean? Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20-some years old.
The idea that Jim Jones believes that he's so much younger than Nas and that he resonates with the young 20-year-old and younger crowd and Nas doesn't, it's insane. So I looked up their ages. Nas is 51 and Jim Jones is 48. He'll be 49 next month. So Jim Jones is talking like, I was in the 11th grade when Nas's first record came out. Mind you, Nas's first album came out, Illmatic. Like he wrote a lot of it when he was 16, 17. Jim Jones is trying to frame this as like, yo, Nas is so much more older than me. The 20-year-old and younger crowd, they mess with me, they resonate with me like how I resonated with Nas. I don't know who Jim Jones thinks he is. Quality of records aside, we're not even talking about who has the better music between Jim Jones and Nas yet. The idea that there's like a 20-something-year-old person who they grew up on Jim Jones's music, this person would have to be so far in their 20s. Like I'm talking 28, 29 for this to even make sense. Newsflash, you're about the same age. You're in the same age range as Nas. None of y'all is really clicking. The younger audience is not really clicking with either of y'all's music like that. If anything, the younger audience is more than likely gonna click more with Nas's music, because Nas's music is just more recognizable. You're gonna hear it in movie soundtracks. You're gonna hear it in video games. He has classic records that have stood the test of time. I knew when I saw that Fat Joe was starting a podcast that there was gonna be just so much idiocy said, but I didn't think it would be to this degree.
These kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
All right, so if they 22, why would they know who Jim Jones is? Jim Jones, like, who do Jim Jones think he is? He think he got all these albums and songs that resonate with people who are 22 years old? He's acting like he's not in the same age range as Nas, which he is. They're dang near the same age. And he's acting like his music is just sticking with the younger folks. At first I thought he said 25, now he talking about 22. If you 22, these dudes is listening to NBA Youngboy and Lil Durk. Jim Jones, you got nothing to do with that, man. On a scale of probabilities, you ask someone who's 22 years old, what name sounds more familiar in rap, Nas or Jim Jones? Bro, they're gonna say Nas. I would say on a balance of probability. Nas is a legendary solo act in hip hop. Jim Jones is not. Nas has songs that have stood the test of time. Jim Jones really, as a solo artist, does not.
I mean, they know about
my
Nas.
sons can't tell you one Nas record.
If your sons can't tell you one Nas record, then you ain't doing your job in terms of putting them on the music. There's plenty of music that's before my time that I know because my parents put me onto it. I know the Angie Stones, the NDIREs. I know the Earth, Wind, and Fires. I know the Michael Jackson stuff, the Jackson 5 stuff, because my parents played it, and even hip hop before my time. I know the EPMDs. I know the Poor Righteous Teachers, because my parents put me on these records, man. Like, they played them. Your kids cannot name one Nas record. That's more of a reflection on you.
I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself. Gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums.
Okay, so Jim Jones got a platinum album, at least one, Hustlers, P.O.M.E. This is the album with We Fly High, Ballin'. Compare that against Nas. 2 times plat, 3 times plat, 2 times plat. We get some golds. Like, come on, man.
Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record.
So yeah, I guess it's the New York thing where it's like, yo, talking loud don't make you any more right. So let's pull up the stats. Someone put up these stats. If these stats are not accurate, feel free to check me in the comments. Billboard hot entries. Nas has 15 plus. Jim Jones has 2. Platinum albums. Nas has 8. This says Jim Jones has 0. And I can't really find if this album is platinum, Hustlers, P.O.M.E., but I'll just give it to Jim Jones, right? It sold 106,000 first week, but we'll just give it to him, right? Because he's saying he's got platinum and gold albums. I don't know where that is. Like platinum and gold albums, solo albums. Jim Jones, please feel free to clap back. Let us know which of your albums, your solo albums, are platinum and gold. There's no comparison, brother. Like your stats versus Nas's. Be for real, man.
You want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
Let's actually go to billboard.com. They got Nas, he got 27 songs, Billboard Hot 100. Jim Jones has 2. Brother, there is no comparison between Jim Jones and Nas. Jim Jones is nowhere any top 5. Not top 5 all hip hop, not top 5 male rappers, not top 5 rappers from Harlem even. Jim Jones is not top 5. New York or Harlem. He said this with his chest though, like he just knew he was right.
Want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries. He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
no, let's go sit here.
So, shout out to my New Yorkers, but this is the thing. We gonna get loud and animated. You're still wrong. You can do all the, rapper hands. You're still wrong at the end of the day.
I feel the same way. We all feel the same way.
About the
We. What you speaking French? Jadakiss looking like I don't feel like that at all. Actually.
numbers. My numbers back up.
Let me step up to the forefront.
Yeah, come on, hey, Jadakiss, you gotta bring some sense to this.
In hip hop, we don't pay enough homage to those before us the correct way.
So nobody gonna fact check Jim Jones? Yo, this podcast is trash. You just gonna let Jim Jones get this off? Nobody gonna check Jim Jones on the simple numbers or even the fact that your name is not even mentioned with Nas, even numbers aside. Forget the sales numbers. You're not comparable to Nas. Nobody gonna step up. Y'all all just gonna be friends and buddy. And y'all should have had this conversation offline. Don't upload this to YouTube, man. This is irresponsible.
John Morant get on a call with LeBron. He wants to kill LeBron.
Yeah, you're not John Morant though. If you talking about LeBron, if the analogy is, Nas is LeBron, and Jim Jones is saying he's John Morant as the younger guy, no. If it's LeBron, then bro, you're Udonis Haslem. Like, y'all niggas is the same age though. Like, be for real.
Any song, any of that shit is murder.
This is what you putting me up against anybody. I'm taking me every time. Every time.
Supposed to.
You're delusional. Against Nas, you gotta pay homage. You gotta pay homage, man. This is a great from your state, from your region. You gotta pay homage, man. So if you ask Jim Jones, like, okay, you or Biggie, according to Jim Jones, he gonna be like, nah, I'm better than Biggie. Man, shut your
I did not know he was going there.
Because you're really friends with him.
He gonna be mad at you.
Not me. I don't know him.
All right, so this is why watching media content from industry guys is just not entertaining. And I mean all types of industry guys. Rappers, people who are journalists, people who have connections with this team and that team. It's not interesting because you're never gonna get the fully honest opinion on certain topics. They'll give you an honest opinion on things that don't relate to their connections and to their relationships. When something comes up regarding someone that they may know or are doing business with, you're not gonna get the honest answer. And that's what we got here. These guys are friends with Jim Jones and they're friends with Nas. And you can see they're trying to step in for Nas, but they don't want to offend Jim Jones. They don't even, Fat Joe is just flat out saying it. I don't want to go there. Then don't have the conversation, man. You letting Jim Jones, we got 3 New Yorkers sitting here. You letting Jim Jones come on here and talking about he compete with Nas in any category. What are we talking about? Jim Jones challenged y'all to pull up the stats, pull up the Billboard entries. I'll pull up the Billboard entries. Jim Jones, you got 2 entries on a Billboard Hot 100. That's great. That's awesome. That's great. We're not taking that away from you. But you talking about you pull up my Billboard entries, then pull up Nas's. Okay, here is Nas's. 27. There is no comparison. And he talking about any category. Jim Jones talking about, I put myself against Nas in any category. All right, let's do it. Jim Jones, lyrically, you're nowhere near Nas's level. In terms of albums, you have 0 classic albums. Even if you want to count the Dipset stuff, well, we give y'all Diplomatic Immunity. Cool, that's y'all classic. Nas got many classics. Illmatic, Stillmatic, It Was Written. Nas got classic songs. Nas got songs that have helped people. It's not just this idiotic Bird Gang, whatever the hell you doing over there. Nas got songs that have helped people. I Can.
I know I can. Be what I wanna be.
Nas got songs that have opened people's eyes and gave them knowledge.
Opening eyes to the lies, history's told foul, but I'm as wise as the old owl.
Jim Jones does not have any notable songs like that. And we ain't even talked lyrically. Lyrically, it's not even any question, man. Nas is wiping the floor with 90% of rappers in history.
All of these false prophets is not messiahs. You don't know how high the sky is, the square mileage of earth or what pi is.
Right when I saw that Fat Joe is making a podcast, I knew it would be terrible. I would expect Jadakiss to come in and be the voice of reason. But again, this is why watching these industry guys, not just rappers, people in the industry who already got connections with people, this is why watching them is not interesting. No one's gonna chime in because they don't want to ruin their relationships. They don't want to be chatty, whatever. Well, you picked the wrong job to do. Why are you sitting in front of a camera with microphones if you ain't gonna call this out? This is egregious. The West Coast equivalent, right? This is like Glasses Malone coming up and saying, yo, I'm way better than Kendrick. I compete with Kendrick. And then everybody just kind of sitting there like, we know he's wrong, but we like Glasses Malone and we like Kendrick. So we just gonna try. Nah, man. Horrible podcast. We know Jada is the voice of reason. You gotta start speaking up. But again, Jada probably don't want to offend Joe. He probably like, I don't want to really get into these arguments with Fat Joe. I know how he get. Y'all picked the wrong job to do. You don't want to offend Joe. Joe don't want to offend Jim Jones. Both of y'all don't want to offend Nas. So it's just a completely vapid conversation while Jim Jones just gets his bullshit off. This is crazy. So anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Is Jim Jones on Nas's level in any way? Lyrically, sales-wise, maybe y'all got some information that I don't. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.